have a fairly small fillet here. I've asked the butcher to put elastics on. These elastics are amazing. They can go into the oven and they're very easy to use. If you don't have elastics like this, natural fibre string is absolutely fine. The reason why you tie it is because on a fillet there's a tail end. If this tail end is not tied together, what happens is that you're going to have a very overcooked piece of meat and the rest of your fillet is going to be cooked to your liking. So the best way to do it is actually to tie all the bits in, so you get a firm piece of meat like that. I like to use a coffee rub. It gives a lovely smoky flavour. And what I do is I just sprinkle a little bit onto the board and onto the meat and roll it. Once it's seasoned all over, I'm going to brown it in the pan. The reason why I do this is because by browning the meat, it caramelizes the outside and gives a lovely golden, delicious flavour. Heat a non-stick frying pan with a small amount of oil. It needs to be smoking hot. That's the best way to get the meat to be lovely and brown on the outside. I'm then going to place the meat into the pan and allow it to caramelize. Continue turning the meat until it's lovely and brown all over. Once the meat is brown and caramelized, I'm going to place it into a pan. The pan is then going to go into the oven to continue cooking. The reason is that the fillet is not going to cook all the way in the pan. Once the meat is browned all over, I'm going to place it into a roasting dish. I like to cook my steak at a high temperature, so I turn the oven on to 200 degrees Celsius. And for a piece of meat that weighs between 500 and 600 grams, I will cook it for 10 to 12 minutes in the oven. It's not necessary to turn the steak, and that will give you a lovely medium rare piece of meat. For the coffee rub fillet, we're going to serve it with a delicious chocolate chili sauce. What I've got here is a reduction of wine and stock and a bit of chili, dried chili flakes. What I'm going to do now is add the chocolate. A good quality dark chocolate is going to make all the difference to your sauce. At this point, I'm going to turn down the heat so it doesn't boil. And as you can see, the chocolate will slowly melt in the sauce and at the same time thicken it. Once the chocolate's melted, I'm going to add the cream. This again is going to enrich it and thicken it. And I'm going to slowly simmer it. And at this point, what you can do is you can season it. It might need a bit of salt to bring out the flavour and a bit of black pepper. And just before serving, what you need to do is remove the sprigs of rosemary. I've taken the fillet steak out of the oven, I've placed it on a board and I've covered it loosely with foil. This is going to allow the meat to rest, which means that the juices are going to settle. Often what people do is they take the meat straight out of the oven or off the braai and they cut it immediately. And a lot of the juices bleed out of the meat, which can result in a dry cut. Remove the foil from the meat. You can pour the sauce into a serving bowl. You can slice lovely thick cuts of meat. Serve with a delicious chili chocolate sauce, lovely roasted vegetables and roast potatoes, and a crisp green salad.